You know, the more I'm watching this series, the more I feel like Maomao needs a raise. Because she's no longer a servant. She's much more than just a lady in waiting. She's a crime scene investigator. Like, who knew apothecaries were like this? I thought they were just making herbs and medicines and finishing there. But Maomao is getting into the deep of it. Is it because Jinshi keeps on asking for her to do so? Who knows? Something about this title, though. I feel as though something's gonna happen. I don't know. But anyways, let's get straight onto it. Make sure with the original content as always. All right. And let's get going in 3, 2, 1, and go. Biggity doo. Biggity doo. Anjanai. How she do that? I feel like I think about how she does it and I try to do it myself and I fail miserably. On a cold and stormy night.
That man can't be trusted.
Sure.
Never can be.
It'd only create far more issues.
He's dead.
Talk about a fall from grace.
I'm not letting it stop me.
What the heck was that? Yeah, he's dead.
Not soaking.
You mustn't forget you still have responsibilities to see to.
I understand.
Did he even get an explanation out of her? Or he's just
understand.
he's just still assuming.
The Jinshi I know would never become so attached to a toy.
Well, maybe he doesn't think of her as a toy.
It took considerable effort to get the details out of concubine Gyokyo, who was beside herself with laughter. Who knew that girl had such connections?
Yeah,
Who knows
she's
what
an
his
enigma.
master had in his mind. Youth is such a scary thing.
How old are you, by the way?
He finished his work quickly that day, and left to meet with her. Only to find she had left for home with another man.
What?
It must have been quite a shock for him.
Who else? She's just trying to pay off those debts.
There are many bureaucrats trying to pass bills that benefit them personally. In turn, my master's workload continues to grow because of it.
I wonder why. Almost as if he's a brother to the prince or something.
Master Jinshi!
It's already after hours. Can't this wait?
Nope.
No!
Sir Conan?
Should we go?
Barbarian?
At once.
Apparently, some big shot bit the dust, who died from drinking too much.
Hmm.
Seems pretty open and shut.
No.
Do you think the alcohol's what really killed him?
I knew he'd ask. An excessive amounts in one sitting can possibly lead to death.
Do an autopsy.
It
Check
was
the
a party
liver.
for a group of peers. I heard he had several jars worth.
That certainly would do it.
This is the same drink served at the party.
Real booze!
As for the jar Sir Conan drank from, unfortunately it was dropped on the floor and the contents were lost.
He's acting meek. Must realize he's asking for the impossible. I prefer
Oh, no.
dealing with his usually shiny self.
Maybe this guy was like his, or he was like the protege.
That's a rather unusual flavor. Like someone took a sugary drink and decided to make it bitter.
What's wrong?
Bitter?
It certainly has a distinct taste.
I know. It's sweet, right?
No.
That's how Master Conan liked it. Every meal he took eventually became more like dessert.
That'll give you diabetes.
Sound? Yeah.
Do not spoil my nostalgia with reality.
I'm sorry, did they have diabetes back then?
Were there any salty foods served at the party?
Yes. There was rock salt, mooncakes, and dried meat.
That's
Will
it?
you be needing those too?
Did you just like
By
dump
the time they're
tons
here,
of
I'll
rock
be
salt?
finished drinking the bottle. Can you get the jar that Master Conan was drinking from?
Here's the bottle.
Is it salty?
Are you sure it's safe to lick that?
Unfortunately, there's no poison. Because the jar contained so much salt, crystals were left behind when it dried.
He died from this?
From salt poisoning?
The man still should have been able to tell if the flavor was off.
Sadly, he wasn't able. It seems at some point, Master Conan lost his ability to taste salt.
That can't be.
Many years ago, he lost both his wife and child to an epidemic.
Okay.
There's an illness that eliminates sense of taste. It's brought on by an unbalanced diet or stress. Sometimes people repress their feelings.
But how does someone know that he couldn't taste salt anymore?
Certain people might resent a coworker who's too serious. Maybe they placed salt in the drink to get back at them. A harmless prank in their mind that turned out to be deadly.
I don't know.
I've practically named the culprit at this point, given the number of hints I dropped.
So wait, you already know who the
And
culprit
I
is?
don't want to be directly responsible for someone getting punished either.
Well, I mean, if it's correct, it shouldn't be that bad.
He's wearing an obsidian tassel. He's in mourning. Was Master Conan
Close.
really a great man?
I think it was close.
He had helped me when I was young.
He looks like a regular person right now. I guess he is human after all.
He has some long lashes. Very full.
Oh, yes.
The Pokemon?
Your prize.
More
Bottle?
booze?
Sorry, it's not the same kind as yesterday.
Then it's booze?
Don't drink it in public.
The way she freaks out is adorable.
Here I was expecting a little more gratitude.
I'm not kissing your feet. If we're done
Well, why
here,
not?
maybe you should get back to your usual work. Better be careful or it might start piling up.
There is this particular bill. Drinking would be illegal until the age of 20. Well,
No, please. Please, no.
I'm begging you. Please, whatever you do, don't pass that bill!
Yo, this South Palace. They gotta get something straight.
This way!
It's been 2 days and 2 people have died.
Oh, I can't look!
Oh, quack.
Where was the body found?
Floating in the outside moat. By the way she's dressed, she's likely a servant at the rear palace.
I get it. That's why they call it our dock.
you seem rather comfortable around the dead.
I grew up around them. The Pleasure District is only one street away from lawless chaos.
Well, alright then.
Doctor, could you please do a proper autopsy?
It is my duty.
Oh, gosh.
Indeed. Hard wooden shoes.
One shoe, actually.
Inches on one foot.
Uh,
Fingertips
okay.
deep red.
That's like a hypothermia type finger.
It must have been cold.
According to the guard, she must have climbed the wall last night and thrown herself in. There were no signs she was forced into the moat.
In short, suicide. When you look at the wall, there were no ladders or other climbing tools used.
Someone
The
just
rear
tossed
wall
her over.
perimeter is at least 4 times my height.
So making it to the top would be impossible.
How did that one girl who was dancing on top get there?
Do you remember the affair a while back with the dancing ghost?
That's what I was saying.
Concubine Fuyo?
Yes.
Same wavelength.
That's when I discovered protrusions I can only assume were used by the builders. That being said, it would still be difficult for most women. As you know, our custom considers small feet beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember seeing that.
But if it wasn't suicide, are you saying it's murder?
I don't have the answer to that. Though based on the evidence, it's safe to assume she was alive when she fell in the moat. Taking my own life? The thought would never cross my mind.
Well, that's good.
I'd hate if somebody killed me too. I wouldn't be able to test any more drugs or poisons.
Whatever wakes you up at night, in the morning.
What are you thinking about right now?
Death?
The sort of poison I would choose for my death. It is not something I want, but there are malicious third parties out there who would wish to cause harm to other people.
True. What kind of berries are these? What is happening over here? Why is this a collection of everything? This is the mid-series finale? Not mid-series, mid-season finale? What episode are we at? Like 9?
Master Jinshi,
What is it?
if you're tasked with executing me, could you make sure it is with poison?
Oh,
Where'd
goodness.
that come from?
Forgive me, it's not my place to ask. I won't complain even if it's by hanging or beheading.
You realize that's not going to
Okay.
happen.
I am but a lowly commoner. My life is
Not in
easily
his
taken
eyes.
away over the slightest error.
I would never do that.
Well, if there is nothing further, I will take my leave.
Look at this lighting situation they got going on here. Well, time to throw that plan away. Giving her those thoughts.
Sometime later, I heard a rumor going around. how the dead servant was at the garden party where the poisoning took place. They found a will containing relevant content, so the case was closed as a suicide.
I don't know. It seems to have tied up too neatly.
I recall asking you to find someone with burns on their arms nearly 2 months ago. It took you long enough.
My deepest apologies.
So, you have found them?
Goodness.
The culprit is Fong Ming.
Such a random person.
Master. She's Aduo's head lady in waiting.
Yeah, we've never met her before. So, do you think it's Aduo then? Or do you think
Concubine Aduo.
Or do you think the headmistress just did it on her own? I don't know. Part of me feels like the headmistress did it on her own thing, because I've been seeing the ladies in waiting on what's her name? Li Shu. Like her ladies in waiting, they don't really care much about Li Shu. And a lot of the stuff they do, they don't talk with Li Shu about it before they do it. It's almost as if they're rogue. So I think the fight between both ladies in waiting, between Aduo's and Li Shu's, probably got to a point of where the ladies in waiting tried to get rid of Li Shu. I don't know. I find it a little bit too easy to just straight up accuse Aduo as being the mastermind to try to take out Li Shu. I think there's just too many obvious things pointing to, oh yeah, let's just let it be Aduo. I'm trying to find what exactly is the story that they were trying to go with when focusing on these two deaths. You had the death of the dude by salt poisoning, and then you had the death by the servant from drowning. I think the death of the old guy seems open and shut. I think the only thing that we do need more of is who's the one that poisoned the guy in the first place, and how much that guy helped Jinshi out when he was younger, because we barely scraped the surface of it. It seemed like Jinshi was very taken back at the death of this guy. The girl, however, I feel as though is a little bit more open. Like, we don't know if it's suicide. We don't know if it's a murder. If it's a murder, we don't know why someone would kill her. If it's a suicide, we don't know exactly why she decided to do it, because she seemed fine the day before. Does any of this tie in with the poisoning at the garden party? Or did none of that matter, and it was solely for the purpose of this scene right here, where Maomao was questioning whether or not, or just questioning about death, actually. And she gave Jinshi a scenario that kind of took him back, which was, if you had to execute me, Maomao, could you do it by poison? And this would obviously put Jinshi in a situation, because he doesn't want to do it, but he also has the obligation that if something were to happen to where she would have to be put to death, he would have no say in the matter. I'm not sure why exactly she told Jinshi or asked Jinshi that question. Maybe it's just to answer at least one question of the several questions she had at that moment. Because when it comes to death, there's a lot of things, almost everything that's very uncertain. The time it happens, how it happens, who it's by, how is it by, whatever, right? Almost all of it is uncertain. So maybe, her scientific brain, whatever, sees all these uncertainties, and she asked a question to Jinshi, a question that gives her a certain answer, right? She's trying to find some certain thing in this void of uncertainty. Maybe I could be just looking way too much into this. And now we deal with Aduo, and I think she's innocent. I think the lady in waiting is the main person behind it, but I'm guessing that this scenario is going to get us a little bit more information on Aduo and how she acts, what's her personality, how she thinks about certain things, all that jazz. But anyways, that was my reaction to The Apothecary Diaries Season 1, Episode 9. If you like my reaction, make sure to like and subscribe. If you guys want to know anything more, put a comment section down below. See you guys next time. Bye.